Hello my friends, today we're gonna make a frickin' powerful and groovy UK house drop similar to Fred again in FL Studio 20. First set the BPM to 133. Now let's begin by making a groovy and powerful drum beat. We'll begin with a kick, playing this bouncy rhythm. Then a clap. And this metal sound to add some more atmosphere. Then let's add a distorted ride. And a drum loop. We're actually gonna add a second version of that same drum loop and pitch it down a bit. This makes the drum loop a bit more full. Now my friends, let's make a bouncy bass line with the same rhythm as the kick. I just used this sub-bass layer in Serum that has some white noise on it. Guys, we want that really distorted and hard sound from the bass line, so we need to absolutely destroy the bass layer with some mixing effects. We'll begin with distortion using Fruity Fast Dist, then a crap ton of OTT, a soundedizer to add more power, then an EQ removing the high end, some more distortion and compression using Camel Crusher, then another Camel Crusher to add even more compression, and then a final EQ. This, my friends, is what the bass sounded like before the mixing. And this is with the mixing effects. That's the sound we want for the bass line. Now we want to sidechain the bass, but because of the kick rhythm we can't just use a standard 4 to the floor sidechain. Instead we're gonna link the bass to this mixer track that we'll call sidechain, and then we'll make a volume automation for that sidechain mixer track that looks like this, and we're gonna place that automation every time the kick plays. This is the bass without the sidechain automation. And this is with. And this is what we have so far, guys. Now my friends, it's time to make a lead on top. But first, I would truly appreciate it if you subscribed and turned on post notifications. We're gonna make an LFO vocal lead, and our goal is to make it very atmospheric. We'll begin with this vocal atmosphere sample. Then we're gonna add some mixing effects to make it a lot bigger. We're gonna start with an EQ to shape the sound, then compression with OTT, another EQ, distortion and compression with Camel Crusher, a couple more EQs to clean it up a bit, then a fruity pinematic with these settings to make the lead pan a bit from side to side, and lastly a fruity stereo shaper making the lead wider. This is what it sounds like without the mixing effects. And this is with. It sounds a bit harsh on its own, but trust me, it sounds a lot nicer when played together with the bass and drums. We're also gonna add a reverb on the vocal lead. Now let's chop up the vocal. And we're gonna make this volume automation for the vocal to create that LFO effect. Guys, we're gonna sidechain the vocal lead the same way we did with the bass, but we'll make the volume automation like this, so it doesn't go all the way down. That is because we want the lead sidechain to be a bit less intense than the bass sidechain. To make the bass a bit more interesting, we're gonna add these brass stabs on top. Now guys, we're gonna add a second part of the drop, but the second half will be a bit different. We're gonna make it into a more of a piano house style drop with some really powerful piano chords, instead of using this bouncy rhythm on the kick like in the first half. We're instead gonna use this standard 4 to the floor kick rhythm. But guys, remember to also change the sidechain automations to match the new kick rhythm. We're also gonna add some more brass stabs in this second half. Now onto the piano chords. We're just gonna use this FL keys piano layer, playing these chords. and we're gonna make them hit a whole lot harder with some nice mixing effects. We're gonna begin with EQ, then a lot of OTT, another EQ to remove some ugly frequencies created by the OTT, distortion and compression using Camel Crusher, then an EQ, and another EQ, a soundizer to add even more power, and 2 final EQs to clean up the highs a bit more. Lastly, we're gonna add a fruity stereo shaper, making the piano really wide in the mix. This is what the piano sounds like without the mixing. And this is with. And this is the piano and bass together with the beat. Lastly, we're gonna make this outro part of the drop without the drums. This part will be a bit more chill and atmospheric. We're gonna use the bass line without sidechain. This impact sample. And we're gonna add these brass stabs playing the same notes as the bass line. We're also gonna use the uncut version of the vocal lead. This is what that outro part of the drop sounds like. Finally, I was done with the drop, guys. Before I show you the full drop, I would truly appreciate it if you checked out my new sample pack. Link is in the description. If you get the pack, you'll get 6 FLPs, 280 samples, and 150 serum presets, all made for future house, bass house, slap house, and deep house. Here's a sneak peek of 2 of the FLPs from the pack. If you liked the video, please be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Love you guys.